Same thing, sticking with 5.4, we just got done talking about product to sum formulas. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction and go sum to product formulas. So you're going to have either sine of an angle plus sine of another angle, or cosine plus cosine. Notice that none of these, whenever we're dealing with them, you should never have, or at least for right now, having a sine and a cosine getting added or subtracted together. Whatever one is, if I have two different angles, it's going to be sine plus sine, or cosine plus cosine. Similar, same location as it was for product to sum, down in the lower right-hand corner of your reference sheet that you should already have. But again, it's just a matter of figuring out and fitting it, getting it where everything fits, and kind of going from there. So whenever we do this, if I have sine of 9x plus sine of 5x, so two sines getting added together, so I'm going to fit here in my first formula. So I'm just going to plug in, I'm going to have 2 sine of 9x plus 5x all divided by 2, and then cosine of 9x minus 5x all over 2, and then go from there. Once we get to this point, again, just like whenever we did product to sum, I'm going to kind of do two things at once. 9x plus 5x is 14x, or actually I'll just write it out. So I'll have 2 sine of 14x over 2, cosine of 4x over 2, and then as far as my final answer is just going to have 2 sine of 7x cosine of 2x. Now, on example B, okay, on example B, notice that it is cosine minus a cosine. This is the only case that this will apply, that you will have a negative 2 in the beginning. Okay? Everything else is positive. This is the only case is if you have a cosine and a cosine and it's subtraction. Cosine and cosine above and it's addition, nothing we have to worry about. So the only thing that we have to worry about is if you have two cosines and they are subtracting from each other, then it's going to be a negative 2. So then if we have cosine of 4x minus cosine of 3x, I'm going to have negative 2 sine of 4x plus 3x all divided by 2, sine of 4x minus 3x all divided by 2. And again, from here, it's complete. This one's not as much of a shortcut like you could the one before. So because 7 over 2, so I'm just going to have negative 2 sine of 7x over 2 sine of x over 2. So that is my final. Now, a big reason, or the reason why we're getting to this, or why we're kind of going a little bit out of order, is because whenever we use half angles and double angles, things can kind of work their way out, especially with the half angles on ones whenever we're putting this back together, as far as a sine, we're dealing with sine and cosine and the half angle formulas, which we'll do later in the week.